Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton and very special guest, Rico E. Anderson. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and we are celebrating Aron Eisenberg. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, quick little intro on Rico. Rico is quite the accomplished actor. He recently has played a Mocklin in the Orville. He was also played Boras, some crazy sci-fi alien in Star Trek Renegades. He's on an Apple TV show. What else are you in? You're doing a lot of stuff. He was also in The Mick, which was really cool. I love that show.
Yeah, very short-lived show. Truth Be Told is a new show on the new streaming platform AppleTV Plus that's going to be coming out. Actually, Truth Be Told airs tomorrow, which will be Friday the 6th. I'm excited about that new streaming platform amongst all the other 15,000 streaming platforms.
What's the name of it so we can check it out?
Truth Be Told.
Truth Be Told.
Oh, I thought you were just saying Truth Be Told. You said Truth Be Told. It actually comes out tomorrow. I was like, please tell us the truth.
Yeah, just tell us already. Quit teasing.
Oh, okay. So it's called
Who's on first?
Be Told.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay. So that's great.
That was a modern. Yeah, no, it's great. Octavia Spencer starring in it. Ron Cephas Jones from This Is Us. Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. It's an amazing all-star cast.
Who from This Is Us?
Ron Cephas Jones. He played the father.
Mm-hmm.
The father.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, everybody loves that guy.
Yeah. He's
Octavia Spencer, Ron Cephas Jones, and the other guy from Breaking Bad. Who did you say? Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul, yeah. You got a great cast there.
And Rico E. Anderson.
Yeah. Reoccurring on the show, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be
Congratulations. What's the show about for those guys?
Aaron Paul is a convict. He was framed, and part of his conviction had to do with Octavia Spencer's character covering some things, but there was some sort of discrepancy in it all, and so there's this mission to right some wrong things, and it's kind of a mystery.
It's a big mystery. Who done it?
Yeah, all the facts aren't straight. So it affects this particular family, and I play Herbie, character who runs the bar, the biker bar. It's a black biker bar in Oakland, which black biker bars in Oakland were very, very prominent back in.
No way, really?
Oh yeah.
When does this take place?
It's today.
Okay.
Today. Yeah. But they're just bringing the bar.
That's cool. I thought you were going to say I'm the black Sam Malone when you said the black bartender.
That's a good thing to be.
That's the prequel.
So now, before we get too much into Aron as a person, I do want to touch upon the fact that you can give us some insight into Aron the actor, because Aron would spend an hour and a half in the makeup chair every day, and to my knowledge, at least 3 times you've played various sci-fi aliens and sat in that makeup chair, and maybe you can kind of walk us through that. Is there anything that's terrible about it, or is it relatively easy? I mean, what's the deal with that?
It's fun. I mean, my first time doing it. Now, listen, we're comparing my limited amount of experience to Aron doing 7 years of it on DS9. But I will say that one of the coolest things about it was the fact that you got to really. It really challenged you. It challenges you a lot as an actor, because you're with prosthetic makeup. You have some limitations. Your expressions may not come out as much as they would if we were just not wearing it. So you have that, and they say like the eyes are a really good thing that helps to bring out the character. You see that a lot in like within Star Trek, especially like characters like Gowron, you know, where his eyes, oh, you know,
the Robert O'Reilly School of Acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little round eyes. But yeah, I mean, it's important. I mean, you know, you can't make expressions with your forehead and, you know, it all has to come out. It has to come out in whatever expressions or movements and things like that. So, but it, you know, it's a lot of fun. It was cool. It was my, like with Renegades, it was actually my second foray into doing prosthetic makeup. So just the fact that I was in that chair, being a part of this Star Trek project, that was euphoric in myself, just because I'm a fellow actor, but I'm also a fan. And being a part of something where I was able to combine both was just amazing. And I you know, with the prosthetic makeup, a lot of people would ask me, especially like at conventions, do you get hot in the mask, or are you claustrophobic? And that never happened. And I was never claustrophobic, or I was never hot. I had like a little itch, I think right back here or something like that, or I was more up here. But yeah, besides that, it was cool. I loved it. If I had a career actually doing it, I would love it.
Sure. Hey, Sirach, you know, speaking of eyes, when you were acting with Aron back and forth, did you notice that Aron was making a lot of use of his eyes? Because I definitely saw him not just doing eyes, but a lot of mouth. And Nog was very mouthy, like, you know, he was always kind of doing this or that, or, you know, but you had the benefit of seeing like close up, you know, was he ever doing a lot with his eyes?
No, I think Aron just has these big blue eyes in general. And when he talks, you know, even outside of his character, when he's just Aron Eisenberg, he is communicating a lot with his eyes. And so that's just something natural with him. So no, I didn't look at it like he was overacting with his eyes or trying to compensate for the fact that he was restricted with his facial expressions. I just looked at him as being a genuine person and being, you know, delivering the lines with sincerity, and that translated with his eyes.
Yeah, I know that with, again, going back to those prosthetics, playing Boros, I had these teeth, and I know with Aron and anyone who played a Ferengi, they dealt with those teeth. So there is a sense of restriction in terms of how you talk, and it can be another challenging thing. But you know, the key is to always just make it be like it is your natural being, and Aron definitely embodied that. You never saw it being a challenge, and that was something that, as a viewer, you appreciate, because you really see the realness of what the characters, you know, how the character is being conveyed. As an actor, it's a great challenge too, because you're overcoming certain obstacles that are just there. You know, you have to do it.
Yeah. What you said reminded me of different things. There's a place on the Ferengi nose when they attach it where it becomes detached right here at the corner of where the cheek and the nose kind of meet. And you would see often the touch-ups would be applying more adhesive on the back of that place and trying to push it down. And when Aron and Armin would sometimes use facial expressions and over move their face, that thing would pop back up again and have to get pushed back down. So I remember that specifically, even though I wasn't one of the people wearing it. I remember watching that happen. And the other thing I remember was Aron complained most about his teeth, about the fact, he's like, it's hard with these teeth. He would always say, you know, with these teeth, it's hard to, you know, get some of these words out. And also it would create a lot of saliva. Yeah, having the teeth would create,
you know, you could kind of see it in his performance, and other people, they're kind of you know, trying to suck up their saliva. But it does seem like it'd be the most restrictive thing. Like, you can still move your face, you can still do this stuff, but having this big set of teeth in there has got to be. I've had prosthetics quite a few times, but I've never had to deal with the teeth. Was that kind of a nightmare, Rico?
That look, I don't look at any of it as really a nightmare because I was
you're working and you're doing what you love.
I was doing what I love, but now putting the love of the game aside, it was very challenging. I tell you, the Boras teeth, they were sharp. They were sharp. Like I remember actually, I won't say that I didn't really cut myself, but I remember kind of scraping my tongue a few times and feeling like, ow, yo, that hurt, you know? Mm-hmm. But I did feel the saliva thing, you know, the saliva buildup and all that. And also, and I don't know how it was with the Ferengi teeth, and maybe this is how it is with all teeth on that level, on that professional level. But when I first put it in my mouth, I remember it was either Lisa or Tim mentioning Lisa Hansel, Tim Vito, shout out to them.
Who, Impact FX.
Yes. Yeah. I remember I had to put the teeth in warm water and let the gums soften up. And then you put, you know, basically it's just like, you know, vampire teeth. You just put it up there, but you have to form the gum, or, you know, you have to press the gums against your gums. And basically it hardens up and it becomes like a part of you. And it won't fall out or anything.
Right.
But yeah, the crazy downside to that is, yeah, you're dealing with the fact that now you have that. And honestly, I remember when I first had the teeth in my mouth, and I remember the restrictions. And actually, what was funny was I remember thinking to myself, yo, I need to make sure that I don't sound like a Ferengi, because with it in your mouth, you're talking like this, and it's easy to, and all of a sudden I feel like, oh my God, I sound like Quark.
You sound like Renegades, yeah.
Yeah. And so I had to take that, and I already had a character voice in mind, but now I'm taking the character voice that I have in mind.
And trying to fit it with the teeth.
Yeah. And not trying to find like this, and eventually doing like this. And then of course, you know, you go into ADR work, and then you're able to kind of like fill in those gaps. And,
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about Star Trek. Did you start watching it when it first came out back in '92? Were you just kind of a fan from the very beginning? And what were your first impressions of Nog and of Jake and Nog?
My first introduction to Star Trek was, of course, the original series, and that was in reruns. You know, it was part of like that after-school lineup of cartoons and Gilligan's Island, and, you know, all these shows, and Star Trek was amongst that lineup. So that was my introduction. And then, you know, you hear about this new thing called Next Generation coming out, and, you know, everybody's watching it with their arms folded because they're like, what's this Next Generation stuff? And then, you know, it comes out, and, you know, we're all on board and we're attached. And then it's the same formula of what Star Trek embodied in terms of, here we are in the starship, let's go find out what's happening, let's go save the day. But then you have a whole new concept of storytelling, which came up in the form of Deep Space Nine, where in essence the starship wasn't going to you were coming to the starship. Mm-hmm. In this case, the space station, and everything happened there. And it was great because it was, to me, almost like a Star Trek universe type of series, where you have all these different characters, and now you're really getting a chance to see their stories. And obviously, this was the first time we really had a great understanding of the Ferengi and what they were all about, and how they got down, and why they were the way they were and weren't the way they weren't, and just the characters and stuff. What was great about the character of Nog was you're seeing that from a child's point of view, coming of age, but as a Ferengi. And so now you're seeing what all of us as children, you know, things that we may have all gone through, but you're seeing it from a point of view, you know, basically like a sci-fi point of view, because you're seeing it from somebody of a different culture, a different race, in this case, a different planet. And you're seeing that growth. And boy or girl, any of us growing up, we can relate to growth. We can relate to doing knuckleheaded stuff.
What? Okay.
Yes, Ryan.
Yeah, you did it too, Ryan. Don't exclude yourself.
Did?
That was you. You know, and you know, hanging out places where you weren't supposed to hang out. You know, Ciroc, like you know, like Jake and Nog hung out on the promenade, and then Odo comes through and he's like, "Yo, y'all can't be here. Y'all got to
keep it moving."
Yeah, let's keep moving. But that's
hanging out with people that your parents didn't quite approve of you hanging out with.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the other aspect. Yeah.
I mean, you two hanging out on the promenade was very, very much like, you know, hanging out on the street corners, hanging out at your boy's house, hanging out at the playground, you know, hanging out wherever where you're gonna get checked. And then, like you were saying, Ryan, yo, you shouldn't be hanging out with that. He's no good. And of course, that was also touched on. It's like, Jake, what are you doing hanging out with this Ferengi? You know how they are. You know, that whole thing. And, you know, you can be influenced by it. You know, we don't want that. So, you know, it dealt with a lot of that. And Aron beautifully embodied something that we have never seen before. And what I loved about it was the fact that was a wonderful to be given the responsibility of basically creating, and in Aron's case, adding more to a universe that already was there, but doing it from a child's point of view. It's like, again, we for the most part know the Ferengi, but now we're really about to know the Ferengi. And in Aron's case, we're about to know the Ferengi from when they're, you know, kids, and how that whole growth happens. Like, as humans, you know, we grow and what we go through.
Yeah, what you said was interesting, Rico, because it actually made me think along the lines of what you discussed as far as the progression of the different Star Trek series. And you started with the original series, and you talked about it continuing with the Next Generation and them still having the ability to explore and this ship exploring, right? Mm-hmm. And one thing that kind of popped out into my head as you were saying that was, yeah, with Deep Space Nine now, we actually get to take a more in-depth look at different cultures and different races. And we're starting to understand the Cardassians and the Klingons and the Bajorans and the Ferengi, and in an in-depth way, like in a community type of way. Yeah. And that kind of discovery, or that kind of in-depth look into things is not permissible on a show in which it's constantly moving and traveling, like a spaceship would be, right? So you couldn't sit there in a series with a movement of the Next Generation and take this in-depth look at the, you know, whatever race you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Rico, you've given us a lot of insights about, you know, acting with prosthetics, about, you know, what Deep Space Nine was like, and Ferengi and Nog and Jake and Nog. Now, tell us a little bit about Aron as a person. You've hung out with him. You know him fairly well. What can you tell us about Aron, the kind of person that he was that maybe not a lot of people would know?
That's going to be a hard one, because you know, from what I've heard from other people, I can't help but piggyback off of a lot of it, and it's just a great testament to who Aron was. Aron was very much a people person. I did not ever see any level of him faking that funk and being not being real, being really cool, you know, very personable when he saw you, joking around and just, you know, just really loving, not only if you were just a fan, but just loving life, just being a really genuine human being, and being very proud of who he was. You know, and again, other people have spoken of Aron's illness and things like that, but him never letting that get in the way, or never being a thing where he never really, you never saw him lean on that. he wanted you to be you and not feel like you have to be something or act a certain way when you're around him.
Yeah.
And I appreciated the fact that he stood tall like that. And he really did not let whatever you want to say it was his illness, what disadvantage. I don't know how you would say it. I don't know. Just he never let that I don't want to say bother him, but he never let that stop him from just being who he is.
Yeah, it was never an excuse for him.
Yeah. And I would see him at events, and I would see him at different functions and stuff, and it was always a cool hug. How you doing? How's it going? I see you online. I see you doing big things. Da da da. I post something. I do a lot of posting, so I post something, and 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 that always brought a smile to my face when I saw the like from Aron Eisenberg. Every now and then he might do a little comment. Just congrats, man, whatever, and that was cool. It was like from a friend, fellow actor, fellow colleague. It's cool when everybody does it, but certain people you just feel a little bit extra of. Oh man, that's cool. He saw that, and there's love.
Do you feel like did you feel like it was ever like a kind of like a game recognizes game kind of thing?
Yeah. And again, I'm an actor and I'm also a fan. And so when the fellow actor in me sees another fellow actor giving love, because I give love too, you like that, you want that, it should be that way. When the fan in me gets that love, it's pretty damn dope. You know what I mean? It's like, it's game recognizing game, but from something that is very iconic and a person who is part of that iconic franchise. And again, it goes back to just being really cool with the people that and that you come across. It's just always been, I guess the fan in me for anything is always going to be like, more, not more appreciative, but just like, wow, I just got love from such and such, or, you know what I mean? So
totally.
It's cool.
And one of the things I want to add to that is just the fact that Aron was so genuine. It made you know that when he was giving you props or when he was highlighting something in your life, it wasn't phony. It was like, this is what he really feels. This is coming from his heart.
Yeah.
He didn't cater to people or try to, kowtow or make people feel like, let me try to pump him up. If he told you something, it was how he felt. Yep. And so when it was from a position of admiration, respect, or, shout out to what you're doing, it was always because he really felt that way, and so it made it more special.
We're just about out of time here, but I think the bottom line is what we can all completely agree on is Aron was 0% fake. Like if he was upset, you'd be completely aware of it. If he gave you a compliment, he meant it 100%. He wasn't giving fake compliments. He wasn't saying it just to be nice or just to look good in front of other people, right? I mean, Sirach, you've known him for over 25 years. Was there even one time ever that he was fake in the slightest?
No, he's not a fake guy. Sometimes he's brutally honest to people.
Sometimes,
but always from a point of view of humor. So it wasn't disparaging. It was always a humorous thing. But he would point out the obvious humor, that was brutally honest sometimes. But that's what we loved about Aron, because he was himself, and he never really put on airs and tried to be something that he wasn't. And the other thing that I want to shout out to Aron is that he was the bridge between a lot of us. We're all here because of him. He bridged a lot of people's relationships. He brought people in together and wanted people to know each other. A lot of people are really possessive about friendships. and about the relationships with people, and they're closed about it. They don't want somebody else to know who they know or their contacts or network of people. But Aron was really open about that. He was like, hey, that's this guy, that's the guy from this, that's the guy who does that. You guys get together and leave me out of this. I'm done. I put you guys together.
Yeah.
So he was great like that. Yeah.
And just one last thing. I just want to just throw out there, seeing Aron at the conventions and seeing how he interacted with people, like the last one, when people came up to him, and just how genuinely happy he was to see everybody, and very engaging, and when we all do the conventions, and when it's a great testament as an actor to really be able to be engaging towards people who are going to come up and give you that love, and not be fake, and really appreciate the fact that people really enjoy what you do. And being at conventions, I try to do that myself and be as engaging and not dismiss anybody. And no one ever does, for the most part, but just being real about it, just being real about when somebody comes up and talks to you and does give you that love for the character that you play, the franchise that you're a part of, just being able to meet somebody that is a part of this thing that they love. Aron will always, to me, be one of those main big embodiments of that, because he did make the fans want to come back. He did make the fans want to, believe that, listen, these guys are cool. Some may be cooler than others, but they really do care about the fact that we are here. They care about the fact that we love what they do so much. And, with Aron gone now, that's one less, that's just, it becomes less than, I guess, I don't know how to say it. It's one less person to really have that high level of appreciation within these type of franchises. And
like a Richard Hatch was like that. When Richard Hatch left us, a lot of people were saying that's one of the best people to see at a convention. And Aron was definitely one of those kinds of people. And I can vouch for Rico. For those of you out there, Rico and I do a lot of conventions together, and he is extremely engaging with the fans. I mean, it's pretty much all fake, but like he does try to be super nice to everybody.
They pay me beforehand. Be nice.
Nah, but he's great. So when you see him at the Hollywood show, go check him out there in Hollywood, California.
Or somewhere.
We do have to run. Rico, thanks so much for joining us. And
thank you.
For telling us a bit more about Aron and Captain Nog that we love so much.
Captain Nog Forever, you guys. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm glad you guys are keeping it moving and grooving. And this is definitely what Aron would want, I believe. He was very passionate about this, and bless us.
We're gonna keep celebrating and keep the torch going as long as we can.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much. And for those of you at home, always remember the 7th rule.